Welcome to another edition of the Creators Outlet, sponsored by our friends over at the Inked Marketing team. Inked Marketing, if you need that extra hand or push, our guests tonight definitely don't, to get your Kickstarter at Indiegogo past the finish mark, contact Kevin Gillette over at Inked Marketing and see what they can do for you. 30 plus years in the business. Check them out for yourselves, Inked Marketing. And tonight we welcome Matt Knowles and Steph Cannon, who do not need any help at all. It's like a train going off the tracks. And
why can't we be a train staying on the tracks, just going really fast? Why do we have to be going off the track?
No, we're going off the rails like a crazy train.
There you go.
Why can't we stay on the train and why can't we stay on the tracks and be crazy? That way we don't go over off the cliff and go out, be like Back to the Future and go into the gully. Like, why can't we just stay on the train?
No, I'm all for crazy train.
Hey, who's to say that Superman's not going to come underneath and hold up the tracks like he did?
Yeah, or Spider-Man, just like he did save that subway car.
Yeah, except we would know it was coming because Tom Holland can't keep a secret.
Yeah. Apparently.
So, hey, man, thanks a lot for having us on the show tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time to hang with us, or us to hang with you, or whichever way that phrase should go. But we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we were talking in the pre-show. It's been like a year. You guys were on a, good segue and off the rails show over a year ago now, and I saw before I saw the post for the new campaign, I was like, wow, I haven't seen or heard much of anything from Matt or Steph in months, like any posts or anything.
Which is wild because we do post a lot. We've had a lot of personal.
Yeah, we're definitely post-tours.
We did have a point in December and January where we were a little bit quiet because Steph was having some a medical procedure done. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of pulled back just a little bit there, but we were jamming. We actually had, even though we had 14 appearances canceled in 5 different states in 2020 for obvious reasons, we still ended up with like 18 appearances. And we had some stuff in December and in January. Yeah, we've been trucking, but the Facebook algorithm just doesn't like people. I had a guy this morning, a fellow creator, that I talked with him, and he's like, dude, how long has your campaign been active? He's like, this is the first that I've heard of it. I messaged him on Instant Messenger. I'm like, dude, it's been active for like a week and a half. And he's like, I'm like, with the amount that we post about it and send our emails and do previous campaign updates, I'm like, I can't believe that there could possibly be somebody out there in our community that has not ever seen a post about it. So it just blew my mind how much it's proven that the Facebook algorithm just nukes the heck out of people's posts.
Well, it doesn't like me seeing anything because, it's a rare occasion that I'm not in Facebook jail. So,
I feel like if anybody so much as posts 2 posts in a row, they're in Facebook jail these days. I've been hearing a lot of people trying to promote their stuff, and
it's like you said an opinion that doesn't agree with us, and
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad because we when you're doing a Kickstarter campaign, you have to post about it. That's how people know about it. There's no other way to get around it. I'm glad that we've been fortunate enough to not be slapped on the wrist by Facebook, because we try not to spam, but we are posting every day about it. So I'm not sure if it's just the wording that we're using or what it is, but we've been lucky so far.
It might be me because I've got like so many posts like flying by, and I go live 5 nights a week. So
okay.
Creators Outlet is now Monday, Tuesday, Friday nights. I do an art show with Sean Howe called the Sean Zell Art Show on Wednesday nights, and I do a show. You wouldn't think it by my appearance, but I do OK Boomer, the podcast.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Where my buddy Thomas and I from Outright Geekery, we just go back in time with comic books, old back issues. We go through them like page by page and just checking out cool stuff that people might have forgot about or, never knew. This week we're doing the Wayback Machine, Batman 121, First Mr. Freeze.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And it's like, I actually have one of those. Well, not a real one. Toys R Us was giving away like Batman, like very cheap newspaper print promo things. Yeah. And I came across them going through my collection. I was like, oh, cool. I go, I have one of those somewhere. He goes, oh, where is it? I go, I have no idea.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere. So from what I saw, the campaign is going quite well. And
yeah, we can say that.
I saw Top Billing and Scream Punk.
That's Pops' nicknames for us. So Matt is Scream Punk for obvious reasons because it's metal and steampunk. And Pops calls me Top Billing because he says that I should always have the top billing because I think it's a ladies first type of thing. So it's just names that have stuck.
Cool. Now I remember the last campaign, there were like dragon heads and all kinds of way over the top stuff. And I'm like, and I remember seeing, you guys doing like live updates here and there. And it's like, well, somebody just bought another dragon's head.
Yeah. Like, there was one where I was wearing the dragon head. And yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. And this time I see stuff that I really like because, I was a DJ for 35 years.
That's what I want to hear.
Some of my equipment's like right over there. So I'm like, oh, glow in the dark leather dragon steampunk.
Turntable mats and absolutely mats
and
splatter
vinyl. I'm like, oh.
Hey man, we got room for you in the campaign, man. Go get yourself some of it. That's what I'm talking about.
So for those that are watching that may not be familiar with our campaign, it's Heirs of Isildur versus Tales from Nocturnia, which are our two IPs that we have worked on together. Heirs of Isildur is a steampunk time travel series, and Tales from Nocturnia is our medieval fantasy series. And what this campaign is it is both a comic and the new metal album. Matt is a musician. He does about 90% of the music at least?
Yeah, I would say that.
We do have guest musicians, which we'll get into a little bit later. But the reason why it's our two IPs titles versus each other is that there are 5 songs on the album that are that deal with Heirs of Isildur and 5 songs that deal with Tales from Nocturnia. And we wanted to kind of do a little tongue-in-cheek kind of Marvel versus Capcom fun little style for the cover there. And that's also the cover for the comic. The comic is sort of a bridge issue. Heirs of Isildur is an 11-issue story arc that we turned into a 200-plus page trade paperback. And that story arc ended on a bit of a cliffhanger for our main character, Michael Isildur. His fate was left kind of up in the air, so to speak. A lot of people have been asking us, what's the deal with him? Did he die? Is he alive? Is it something else? And we address that with this comic. It's kind of just a little one shot that we're gonna put out before we go on to the next story arc for Heirs.
Cool.
And one of the things we try to do with this as well is, we're always about making sure that we expand whatever IP, whatever medium we're working on. We want to expand it out past the boundaries of that medium. So this comic has actually got all the song lyrics are a part of the comic at the end of the comic. So instead of when you get the multicolor splatter vinyl, we have the Portal variant, which is blue, red, and black, and then we have the Dragon's Lair variant, which is a neon orange green splatter variant. Instead of getting a sheet of paper in the record with the lyrics on there, all the lyrics are in the back of the comic issue. Each song gets its own page. You'll also get an explanation of here is what's actually going on in the song. Here's the character that this song is from their perspective of, and then where it fits in the story. Because Some of the songs actually go back and summarize events that happened in the Crossroads Conundrum. Some of them deal with events that happen in Nightmare Scenario. And then if you turn that record over and go over to Tales from Nocturna, there are songs that deal with or that are affiliated with all the different issues and then the trade paperback of Tales from Nocturna. So we wanted to make sure there's a little bit of a value add. If you're somebody that's a music fan that is picking up the record, you're going to get a little something more because, hey, I've got my record, I've got my song lyrics, but then you're also going to get a comic story that comes along with it as well, that we hope is something that are going to be like, hey, this is kind of cool. I might want to check out what came before or what's coming after and kind of go from there.
You have literally made a comic book rock opera.
We try.
Hey, that's a great way to look at it.
Except just replace the opera with an angry bear and a blender, and turn that thing on high speed with a machine gun, and then that's me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I just took that cue from being a longtime Alice Cooper fan. So
I would say we were probably closer to Doomstar Requiem from Death Clock than we are anything else, even though it's a lot heavier than what Death Clock and Metalocalypse was.
Yeah, because I listened to some of the music, and it starts off like a little Dream Theater-ish, and then gets really screamy.
That's right. Gotta be screamy. But even though it's screamy, it's I'm still enunciating all the vocals, because to me, I'm like, if you're going to put the time and effort into making a song that's got thought-provoking lyrics in there, somebody needs to at least be able to understand them. So if they're not coming out of my mouth in a way that is understandable, then what's the point?
Well, and you can look at the lyrics in the comic, because the comic includes all of these song lyrics. We decided that's kind of more fun than, there's a CD, you can get the CD, vinyl, or MP3, but we, dedicated full pages to the lyrics and kind of the song explanation. So it's kind of a fun little added bonus.
Yeah, that's just like really cool. And I'm gonna refresh it on the other page first.
All right.
Just in case it's no, it's still at that. So let's see if we can get it up past that a little bit.
There we go.
On the stream. So you're at 7,097 out of 3,500.
Right. And the way that we look at there's two different schools of thought when you launch a Kickstarter and what your ask is. Some people will ask for what they think they can get by the end of the campaign. The other train of thought says you ask for what you think you could get in the first 2 days. We went with what we thought we could get in the first 2 days, what our hope was. We actually obliterated that number in 40 minutes. We were between 40 and 41 minutes in when we actually funded, which was pretty amazing to us. We are happy with where we're at. We're actually on pace to potentially have, we have our second best Kickstarter we've ever had right now, dollar amount wise. If we have a good final 18 days of the campaign, we could potentially eclipse our best campaign ever. We're not going to count our chickens before they hatch, but that's something we're hoping actually happens. But if you think about the amount of things that we're doing in this campaign, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that $3,500 does not cover even the cost of what we're doing, because right off the bat, you have to pay for art costs. We got multiple covers. We had, 4 different artists, I believe, 3 different artists that worked on covers for us. We have interior artists, we have colorists, to do even short runs of splatter vinyl. You're talking in the thousands just to get the short runs done.
Vinyl ain't cheap.
Yeah. So just to, and then you also got Kickstarter fees and shipping costs and all that. So you start pulling those things out and you're like, okay, well, are we even in the black yet when it comes to that? So that's not saying that we aren't. It's just saying that people see a big number on Kickstarter and they think, oh, these guys are just trying to, just bilk us out of anything. But there's a lot of expense to putting together the kind of campaign that we do. The leather work that we get from GB Leatherworks, that stuff obviously isn't free. So there's a lot to it. So we're happy with the pace that we're on. We're happy with the trajectory of our campaign. But the farther we can get it, the more we can fund and the more we can give back to everybody who is actually a backer. We just actually crossed a stretch goal right before we got on this broadcast. We haven't even put the graphics up for what was there in the stretch goal, but we can. Steph, what do you think? You think we can tell them what's going to be in this? What was achieved at this stretch goal?
Yeah, I think so.
So, do you want to hear that, man? You want to hear what happened at 7,000?
Of course I do.
That's what I'm talking about. So, at 6,000, well, first at 5,000, we added 4 pages to the issue. So it went from being 24 pages to 28 pages. At 6,000, we revealed 3 trading cards, 3 holofoil trading cards. And we said we would randomly insert one of those 3 cards in every physical backers package. And there was one PDF from another creator that was in that level as well. At 7,000, those 3 trading cards we revealed at 6,000. Now 2 of those 3 are going to get put into every physical backers package instead of just one. We also are adding in Monster Matador, part of the hashtag Comics and Metal with us, because they've got a metal song that is their theme song, and you're going to get their PDF and a copy of their MP3 alongside of those trading cards, and then we can't reveal what it is right now. We'll reveal that tomorrow, but we do have a one-of-a-kind tier going to be revealed, and we're going to put it out there as just an add-on because it's something that is only one character. I mean, not one character, it's one item that's there, and we want to make sure that everybody, whether it's on our email list or whether it's on our backer list, know the time we're going to unveil that, because we want everybody to have the equal opportunity to be the one to get up there and click on it if they want it. We don't want our email list to be like, dude, why are we on the email list? We didn't even know about it. It's already been taken. But that was unlocked at 7,000, and we're super stoked about that, and we can see where we go from there.
Pops, I back this, but have to change to the Corey Steger cover. And you should get that one too.
So are you familiar with what the Corey Steger cover is that we have on the campaign?
Yes, because I actually was buried in this campaign for about an hour today.
Oh, I love it. I love hearing that. Corey Steger, for those that don't know, it was a longtime friend of mine. He was a founding member of the band Under Oath. And he recorded on my old band, Royal Anguish. He recorded on an album we did named Mysterion back in the early 2000s. Corey was part of the formulation of the ideas for what Heirs of Isildur was going to be. He was always on the musical side, but we kind of had ideas about that there was going to be some backstory and there was going to be characters. The characters he and I talked about never actually made it into the story as individuals. They were kind of amalgamated and turned into the character you see on your screen right now, which is Michael Isildur. He's the main character in Heirs. Corey recorded on every one of the tracks on the first album, on the Crossroads Conundrum. He was just down in March, and he recorded on half of the tracks for the album. And 11 days later, his life was tragically taken in a car accident. So we ended up possessing the final recorded tracks for him on this campaign. What Steph said earlier, for the comic, for Nightmare Scenario, we left Michael Isildur in this moment of peril. Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he somewhere in between? There was a lot of very dark imagery that we had that was going to be potentially attached as variant covers. And immediately we removed all those from consideration out of respect for Corey. We didn't think it was going to be in our best interest to have graveyard imagery and things like that on the covers. So we were fortunate enough to get James Sims to on very short notice. I mean, Corey just passed away on March 17th. So we were able to come up with our idea, get it formulated between Steph, myself, Rick Lobb, who is Corey's best friend, and James. And James came up with this with really amazing cover. It's down in the campaign, and it is called Tribute, and it is Corey sitting on a Game of Thrones inspired throne that is made out of his guitars. We found every picture of every guitar he's ever played that we could. Corey was well known for getting guitars and selling them and giving them away and different things like that. And we went back to screen captures of time when he was back in Under Oath and when he played with the power metal band Archer, Symmetry Point, which is his own project, and then obviously to Heirs of Isildur. And we tried to make sure that the throne was constructed of as many of his guitars as possible. So it was actually a picture that culminated the musical career of him when he passed on.
And I saw that cover and I was like, I'm going through and I'm looking, I go, oh, this is cool. Ooh, I like the parchment one.
We like to pride ourselves on our variant covers, and we also have we haven't talked about the GPK homage one yet, I don't think, but that is one by artist Walter Osley, who he actually did two Garbage Pail Kid homages, and that's the one that you see there on the campaign that looks like the Atom Bomb character from GPK, and he did two for two of our characters. For our Tales from Nocturnia story. One was our hero, Beninock. So he was blasted Beninock, and then our villain, one of our villains, Verminoth. So he was Vile Verminoth. And we actually had him make one for Michael Isildur because we knew that we were going to be doing more Heirs stuff in the future. And we thought, hey, may as well have him do all three covers right now. We'll hang on to the Michael one until we do a campaign for Heirs. And we finally got to unveil it with this one, and we're offering the foil version for that one too. But yeah, the parchment one, we got to have that because it's kind of that steampunk vibe for our steampunk fans.
And that one's going to be a very limited edition. We already said that we're going to print up whatever amount we need for the campaign, and probably only about 20 more. So for the parchment cover, if we have 10 people buying in the campaign, we're printing up 30. If we have 50 people buy out, we're printing up 70. So we're going to make sure those are all hand numbered so that people know that they may have one of these very rare variants that only got printed up one time during the campaign.
Yeah. So don't wait to see these two at a convention to grab that.
That's
parchment
right.
Cover.
Yes.
Or any of the others that are at all any of the others, because you never know how soon these things are going to be gone.
Absolutely. And one of the things too that people have asked us are like, man, you guys have a lot of stuff. Do I need to read Tales from Nocturnia? Do I need to read Heirs of Isildur to be able to enjoy what's on this album or in this comic? Absolutely, you do not need to do that. Obviously, we would want you to understand what has happened in the past, but it's not. We're designing it so you don't have to do that, because the farther we go in what we write, we know that just creates a larger back catalog for people. And we don't want people to be intimidated by feeling like they have to go through the back catalog to be able to understand what's happening. One of the things we're doing in Nightmare Scenario, we're going to make sure that there is a prologue on there that will have just enough information to be able to get you up to speed with where we're starting. And then at the end, part of the first stretch goal with those extra pages, we're going to put Expand and Understand in there, which is something that people really enjoyed in Tales from Nocturnia, where all the characters and whatnot that you meet in this issue after the story's over, we are going to have explanations of who these characters are, why they're important, so that way you have insight into their importance in the story. And the reason why we put it at the end is because we like to have surprise characters and reveals and things like that. And if we put all this stuff at the beginning, then it's going to take all that surprise away. You're going to be like, oh crap, well, I guess this character is going to show up at some point in the story, and now your reveal and all that is going to be gone. So we put that at the end so that way we know that they at least are going to have the ability to understand when they see a character come in for one panel, they'll at least know that there's a reason why that panel's there, or why that character has a relationship with whoever the main character is going to be in that panel with them.
Now, myself, I would want to buy all the trades to go with it, because that's just the kind of nerd I am. I want to read the whole story. I don't want to. It's like, well, this is a one shot and it's not connected to anything. But are there more? Yeah.
Well, and like Steph said, even though it's a one shot, it's more of like a chapter that is pulled out of the overall arc. We like to equate it to if you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you watch The Two Towers and The Return of the King, the extended edition of Return of the King is different than the theatrical version. Peter Jackson made a controversial decision to cut out the entire Death of Saruman scene that was in Return of the King. And he was asked about it. And what he said was, I didn't want to start off the third movie with what felt like 20 to 30 minutes of the end of the second movie. He wanted to get right into the meat of Return of the King story arc. And what Nightmare Scenario is, we feel like, is kind of the same thing. It is a good end cap for what people have been wanting from us from the Crossroads Conundrum. But it also sets up where we want to go with our next arc, which is the Perilous Prospects. It's going to be pretty obvious and pretty clear as to who the players are going to be. When we start the Perilous Prospects, we can jump right into that storyline without having to explain Nightmare Scenario. Because if Nightmare Scenario was still involved in Perilous Prospects, we'd have to have a pretty long first issue just to set up who the players are going to be in that story arc. And we didn't want to do that. So this gave us the opportunity to pull this thought process out, make it a one-shot bridge in between the two story arcs. And something you just said there about wanting to make sure you get all the trades. One of the things we are known for, and we have people like, oh, you guys have too many tiers up there on your campaign. We brought what, Steph, 38 tiers on the campaign?
Part of it, yeah.
And the reason we do that is because someone like yourself, you're like, hey, I want to get all the trades. If you want to get all the trades, we have completionist tiers. We have tiers that have got both albums, both trades, and Nightmare Scenario. So you can have all the stories right there in one in one tier. We have the digital version of that. We have the physical version of that. We have tiers of multiple versions of tiers called Let's Get Steamy, because somebody could be only a steampunk fan and they want everything that relates to just the steampunk side of things. We have Let's Get Medieval. We have a bunch of tiers there. They want everything that's related to just the medieval side. We have a few different tiers for Corey, and people have taken those where you got the Corey cover, you have the first CD, the second CD, and the vinyl. We try to make sure that even if there's a lot of tiers to sift through, that you are probably going to be able to find one that's going to be really close to what you want. And then if you still don't have a tier that you want, that doesn't have everything exactly as you want, we try to make sure we have a pretty extensive list in the add-on section as well. We've had people that have added on baby dragon head keychains from previous campaigns, and the challenge coins we have, and enamel pins and trading cards, and they've done all different kinds of things like that. So we try to make sure, even though it's a lot of information to take in, there is still, it's all there for you to be able to take in. You're not left wondering, how am I ever going to get all this stuff together?
And speaking of which, let's take a look at all the stuff.
I think that sounds like a good idea. What do you think, Steph?
I think so.
The campaign. Well, there's a little hint of some of all the stuff, but not all of it.
Yeah, there you see some of our covers. Yeah, some of our covers there, and the vinyl variant. So obviously that gives you an example of the green orange record variant, and then the purple blue or purple black or whatever we're calling it.
But you've also got the CD there.
Colors.
You got the CD
Don't make
there.
me talk about the colors.
You got some CDs there. You've also got the glow-in-the-dark guitar picks. They were something for early bird backers, but past the early bird, if you get a tier that's over $59 before shipping, you're still going to get one. It's got the Heirs of Isildur gears on one side, and it's got the double dragon logo from Tales from Nocturna on the other. And then right beside there, you see our good friend Harrison Hansen, and he's got two different versions of the decorative turntable mats. And for the campaign only, those things have glow-in-the-dark elements. He's only going to do that for the campaign. And later on down in the campaign, there's actually a video of him turning the light on and the light off, where you can see on the Heirs gear, I believe that the hands on the clock are what's glow-in-the-dark. And then on the double dragon logo for Tales from Nocturna, some elements on the dragons actually glow in the dark as well. So those are Kickstarter exclusive. You still may be able to get one of the mats afterwards, but he's not going to go to the trouble of doing the glow in the dark because it is a process to make that happen. He has to get different paint. He has to get this dust residue stuff to put together. He actually had to go through quite a bit of prep to figure out will it actually work. And he's like, look, I'm going to do it for the campaign, and that's it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get the gears one and just literally put the mechanics in the back and turn it into a real clock.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing too, is you can those, you know, for anybody that's like, well, these look really cool, but I don't have a turntable. You literally could hang them on your wall as a decorative piece or prop them up on a table somewhere. I mean, there's literally a hole right in the middle of it that you can just hang it right up on your wall.
And they're almost as solid. They're solid. They're almost as solid as a vinyl record. Where I was stunned when Harrison showed me the first prototype. And I was like, you could slap somebody in the face with these things and probably knock them out. You know, I mean, they're pretty, they're unlike what I expected.
Now you gave him ideas. We need to put a disclaimer on our page now.
Well, you know, about 10 years ago, it would have been, you know, me picking up one of those mats and whacking somebody every time they asked if I could charge their iPhone for them. Like,
man.
No. I can break it for you because that's what I'll do if you hand it to me. I'll just throw it. But somebody didn't believe me one time, and I actually did. But
I know Harrison did say on that HEIRS gear one that he is going to put a little bit more in the background on there. So there might be some lightning on there that's similar to the malfunctioning Michael cover. So there might be a little bit more on that HEIRS gear one as well. Hey, what's going on? I see Trish Bankston is down there.
Hey, Trish.
What's going on, Trish?
Awesome.
Trish, the mega backer for indie comics everywhere.
That's right. That's right. So this is what we talked about earlier. So just before we came on this broadcast, we eclipsed the 7,000 mark. So we've already got the graphic made. We just haven't put it up here on the screen yet. And the graphic is made for the 7,000 stretch goal. We have a graphic made that's going to go underneath there to explain what's in the 7,000 stretch goal, and we set the stage for the next stretch goal.
And the holofoil trading cards.
Yes, yeah, trading cards. We do them pretty much with every campaign now. It's kind of our thing. So those are the ones that are revealed that will be included.
Yep. When we get to the right now, we're at those 3 cards are going to get us to 42 cards that we've done over the course of our campaigns. We had 3 sets of 10, so we actually have got like the trading card box that's got like the 10-pack that look like the old Garbage Pail Kids packs from back in the day. And then these are that's the 10th, 11th, and 12th foil card that we've done to this point. Will there be more? You never know. We'll have to see what happens in the campaign. Who knows?
And of course, all the old tier backers are going to get the Impure Blood #1 PDF.
Yep. And like we said earlier, the 6,000 stretch goal meant you were going to get one of those 3 cards randomly inserted. At 7,000, everybody that's a physical backer is going to get 2 of those 3 inserted. And you're also going to get a special edition of Monster Matador #1. It's not going to be just the regular old #1. It is the I think he called it the creator version, where there's actually like a bunch of additional content that's in there. And you're also going to get the MP3 of the theme song. We are Comics and Metal. We've been using the hashtag Comics and Metal. We wanted to make sure we involved some other metal in the campaign. And his theme song is actually going to be given to all backers as well.
And certain lucky backers might actually get the 2 connecting cards.
That's right. That's right. That is the Ren and Shody Showdown cover with the 2 connecting cards there. Like I said, one of the other things that's unlocked at 7,000 is a special elite, one of a kind, literally going to be one in the campaign. We're not going to tell people what it is yet, but as soon as we get a chance and as soon as we can get the graphics made and we can get a time set and we can make sure the information is out to our campaign backers and our email list, we'll set a time for when we're actually going to put that into our add-ons. It'll be one. It's going to be definitely not going to be for the faint of heart as far as the pricing on it goes. But once people see what it is, they're probably going to understand why there's only one of them and why it is definitely not something that that is going to cost a cheap amount. So for those of you that don't know what's happening on this cover, as Steph said earlier, this is a Marvel versus Capcom homage. As we were doing our most recent campaigns, the first album we had, every song was related back to Heirs of Isildur. That's how it was designed. We knew we didn't want to do exactly the same thing with this album, but we weren't really sure what we wanted to do. But over time, organically, half the songs we wrote were for Heirs of Isildur. For every one of our Tales from Nocturnia campaigns, we wrote some music for the campaign video. And so if you were to go back to Tales from Nocturnia 1, 2, and 3, and you go look at those campaign videos, you'll hear a little bit of music. Every one of those tracks actually turned into a full track that's going to be on the album. And we're like, what are we going to do with 5 songs for Heirs and 5 songs for Nocturnia? We're like, wouldn't it be cool if this was a video game and we got to see them all fight it out and see who was going to win? We couldn't do a video game of it, but we could do an album cover and make it, have an homage to that kind of Marvel versus Capcom kind of feel.
Very cool. There is the Dragon's Lair variant. I like that one just because it pops.
Yeah, it's funny. We kind of had our guesses. We thought, when we had the 2 different variant options, we kind of guessed. We thought, this one will probably sell a little bit more than the other. We've been really surprised because we kind of thought maybe the orange green variant cover would sell a little bit more because collectors, it's kind of crazy. Vinyl is this big resurgence. Everybody knows vinyl is selling more than CDs right now. And believe it or not, in the metal world, vinyl is huge, and the crazier the splatter, the better. And there's usually tons of variants. And so if you go on metal boards, you'll see that, these bands will put out their albums and they'll have these crazy splatter vinyls. And so we thought that the orange and green would sell a little bit more, but surprisingly the blue and
the blue
black
and red one, yeah,
has sold just a little bit more.
Which is but you know what though? That's cool. I mean, you never know where the vibe is going to go out there in the market. And right now we've probably sold double. I mean, we're very pleased with what we sold on the other. Yeah. We probably sold double of the Portal variant than of the Dragon's Lair variant. But you know what? Hey, that's fine with me. If people are enjoying it, I really don't care which one they're buying. If they're buying one, that makes me happy because that means that they think it's cool enough that they actually want to have it in their collection.
Yeah. This, the Portal actually makes me think more of kind of like a dragon's eye.
Yeah, definitely.
That's true. I never really looked at it like that.
Yeah.
But, on the plus side, dude, you're selling rad vinyl albums. So
love it so much.
And I try to make sure everybody knows that even though I'm the metal guy and brought Steph into the metal world, she's the one that very calmly and intellectually was like, hey, we're doing the next album. I'd like to consider vinyl, and brought that thought process into the air. And once we did some research on it, we realized, hey, this is exactly what we want to be doing. And so that's what we did. That's why we get the vinyl out here. And now we feel like it'd be silly for us to have not considered it, because it's just, there are more vinyl records sold than any other medium in physical music right now, and it accounts for nearly 2/3 of the revenue of music physical media. So for us to not be in that, when being in a collector's world like we are, for us to not do that would be silly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got a crate of vinyl behind me on the other side of the room too. Well, and of course, it also has a couple of those old power records from the 70s with Star Trek and Superman, but
Well, you want to know something that's actually cool that you just bring that up. So we were on a podcast on Friday night, and Steph was talking about how she's a big vinyl collector and she collects soundtracks and different things like that. And a buddy of mine, Asgrim, who used to be a bandmate of mine, he was on, he backed the campaign. And then I saw him the next day at Corey Steger's memorial service. And, we exchanged a few things because we were previously bandmates and longtime friends. And I'm like, hey, I got this for you, He goes, hey, I got something for Steph. And I'm like, okay. It's like, yeah, he goes, I was literally digging through my vinyl while your show was on, just looking at stuff. And he's like, hey, I have 2 of these records. I'll just give it to Matt to give over to Steph. And he gave me an original vinyl copy of the Raiders of the Lost Ark soundtrack to give to her. And she was
just crazy because I'm a huge John Williams fan. I'm a huge adventure movie fan. And so that was like, that's definitely one that I want in my collection.
Yeah, so she's like, I told her, I said, hey, I got a gift. Somebody gave me something to give to you. And she was like, to give to me? She's like, well, I said, yeah, yes, definitely to you, named for you. It's not for me. And she was pretty thrilled. Asgrim's a good guy, man. So I was glad he did that.
That's very cool. And, Trish likes one-of-a-kind stuff.
Absolutely. So do we. We try really hard to make our campaigns unique. We're in indie comics is a small pool, but there are a lot of comic campaigns out there. There's a lot of music campaigns out there going on all at the same time. And we're all peers. We're all, trying to get eyes on our campaigns all at the same time. And we want to make sure that we're offering unique collectibles, cool merchandise, fun comics, or in this case, music that might cause somebody to pause if they're kind of scrolling through Kickstarter looking for something that they want to back.
And here's a peek at some of the pages with the song lyrics.
Yes.
Yep, that's exactly how the song lyric pages are going to look. The only difference is that how you see that there's like a brown page and a green page and a red page and a blue page. There's going to be 2 pages that are blue that face each other. Then you turn, there's going to be 2 pages that are brown, 2 pages that are green. We wanted to make sure people could see the differences in the way the different pages look. So that's why you see those represented. We did have someone ask us though. They said, I wasn't sure what I was going to get. Am I actually going to get a comic in here? And because all we show are the lyric pages, and the answer to that is absolutely yes, you are. This is a comic that ends with lyric pages. This is not a prose book that may have a couple of panels in there. So we probably are going to end up putting up the first page from the story a little bit later on in the campaign. The reason why we haven't is because it is a shorter chapter. It's about 18, 20 pages, but we also did not want to go and spoil the story, because once you get past page 1, every page after that has got some kind of spoiler to it.
Yeah.
As to answering the, is Michael alive, dead, or somewhere in between, or who's going to show up, or what's going to be happening, because it's a very wild adventure. This is by far the craziest adventure that's ever happened in the HEIRS world. And we feel like if we were to put too many of the pages out there, it's going to spoil the joy for people that are going to get a chance to read it. Because if you have half the issue or a quarter of the issue out there before you get it, you're already going to have a feeling about what's going to take place. So we'll probably put page 1 up there because we feel like we can put page 1 up without it being a spoiler. But after that, we're going to withhold only because we don't want people to have it spoiled just by looking at the campaign.
That and the lyrics pages do not change by themselves like you see here. Although that would be rad as hell. That
would be very cool. If we could do what is it, the lenticular?
that might be the $250,000 stretch goal add-on.
Yeah, we'll make some lenticular pages.
$250K, one of a kind. Trish, it has your name on it. Just
graphic, yeah. And so there we see all of our covers there. All the we covered all of them, I think, at this point. But there you kind of see them all displayed together, and then an explanation of each one, just for those people that might think, I'd like to collect them all, or I want at least half of them, or whatever the case may be. We give a breakdown of who the artists are and involved, and anything else you might need to know about them.
One of the things we did do is underneath the D cover, which is the foil version of Malfunctioning Michael, we did put a graphic in there so you could see. We actually have had people pick it up in the campaign, so you could see all 3 of the Garbage Pail Kid homage covers. You can see Blasted Beninock, Vile Vorminoth, and Malfunctioning Michael all side by side. So you know they're all there, and we do have some catch-up tiers. If somebody just wants to pick those up, you have the option to get those as well.
Cool. I have to admit that the GPK eluded me. Like, I saw the new one, and I'm like, oh, cool. And it's resonating somewhere in the back of my skull. And then when I saw like all three covers, I go, oh, Garbage Pail Kids. And then I saw the GPK again. I go,
yeah.
Oh, what an idiot. Garbage Pail Kids.
Well, we've GPK is the abbreviation that the Topps company actually uses, and there's times we will use that only because we don't want to be using their copyrighted phrase. We try to use it as little as we can, especially because of the back in the day you had the Cabbage Patch Kids, Garbage Pail Kids lawsuit and all that. So we try to be respectful of that. But yes, that's why we use GPK, and then we will say Garbage Pail Kids when we have to.
Yeah.
So we have cover A, the showdown.
Yep, and as we've talked about, that's the showdown between multiple characters from Heirs of Isildur and multiple characters from Tales from Nocturnia. One of the things that, if you are a fan of Tales from Nocturnia, that you'll find interesting is on the Tales from Nocturnia side, you've got characters that were fighting against each other in the story. We actually drew them all together, representing Tales from Nocturnia here in the same on the same side. So you've got Beninock and Verminoth, who were mortal enemies. You also have Endolin and Lord Narcath and Burgaz and Zagreb, who are all the bad guys. And then you have two of the stable maidens in Marcelise and Lena that are all 7 unified in going up against the Heirs of Isildur forces, so to speak, on this cover. We just thought that would look kind of neat because that's how you have it in Marvel versus Capcom. You have characters that were mortal enemies, kind of like, hey, in our hood, we don't like each other, but don't come into our hood because we're going to fight for our hood together. Once we get rid of you guys, we'll go back to fighting amongst ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the cool parchment cover.
There's our parchment cover. In sepia tone, as we like to say.
And there's
Exploding Michael.
Yep, there's the malfunctioning Michael. We actually had Walter do the other 2 covers first because they are much more related to the Atom Bomb Blasted Billy that we know from Garbage Pail Kids. In Tales from Nocturnia, there's a volcano that is involved in the story. So we said, hey, let's put the volcano behind these guys' heads, and the volcano is going to be exploding while their head's exploding. For Michael, there's a lot of energy and electricity from the portals, and so that's what's coming out of his head is the energy from the portals.
Very cool.
And then there's our foil version, of course. Always got to have a foil version.
And we're pretty sure that this time, so on the Nocturnia side, it was just standard foil. I'm pretty sure we're going to go with a lava foil for this one, so it's going to have a little more action in the foil itself on those foil versions.
Yeah, surprisingly, you'd be amazed at how many different types of foil they can do. It's kind of crazy, and it's a little overwhelming, the choices that we have to do these types of covers. It's pretty cool, though.
And then all 3.
There's all 3, the other 2 from Nocturnia, and then our newest one with Michael. So if you are maybe you're a Walter Osley fan, maybe you're a Garbage Pail Kids fan, or maybe you have the other 2 and you want to complete the set because you're a completionist, then we obviously offer that.
And the tribute for Corey.
Yes.
Yeah, those pictures that are there, the top and everything to the right, those pictures were all taken on March 6th. So those are very, very, very recent pictures. They were taken 11 days prior to his demise. They were taken during the recording sessions for the album that's on Kickstarter right now. And one of the things that was really cool for me was his family and I have had a lot of discussions since his demise, and between then and the memorial that we just had. And they set up an email account for people to send pictures of Corey, and they didn't send it out to tons of people because Corey wasn't under oath and they didn't want to have thousands and thousands of pictures out there that they'd have to sift through. But I was one of the people that they did. And I think I sent them 20 or 30 pictures, and they had the video that was running during the reception prior to the service. And then they had the big video screen during the service.
Yeah.
And there's 20 or 30 pictures sitting right here in this room that are up there, involved in all the rest of the pictures. Like a lot of the pictures that are on, I think every picture that's on there, other than the one of him playing around doing vocals, actually is in their was in their memorial video that they made. And it was actually really cool being in a room full of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people for this memorial, watching them watch our pictures up there on the screen. It was actually really cool.
And here's the tribute cover.
There it is.
Game of Thrones homage. The throne is made of Corey's guitars. Little things, like he always wore silly socks. We made sure to get the silly socks on there, and this really felt like this did him justice. The family members all really enjoy it. Even his grandma came up to me and she's like, "I need to know where I can get one of these covers." And I'm like, "You're not buying one of these things, Grandma. We're going to give you one." And,
yeah, Grandma gets one.
Grandma gets one for free. You're not buying a dang cover. That's for everybody else. But we're not making his grandmother buy one of these things from us. That's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, and not for nothing, every guitarist I know fantasizes about actually building one of those thrones.
I know, right? I mean, it's pretty freaking cool.
Although a good friend of mine who he's former Navy guy, and he played guitar for years, but he hasn't picked up a guitar in probably like 5 or 6 years. Just traded 3 guitars to a friend of his that actively plays and teaches for like a crazy amount of like high, fairly high end, like Silver Age amazing comic.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Including the very first appearance of Jane Foster and,
man. Wow.
Amazing.
First appearance of Iron Man.
Oof. Yeah, he's not playing around.
No, I just sit there and drool. He's like,
yeah,
we'll talk about, comics. And I'm like, well, I'm poor. So I can barely afford to buy like the facsimiles. He goes, well, I got a truck sitting in my driveway that I haven't used in a year and a half. So I'm thinking of trading that in to get a graded 7.5 copy of X-Men 1.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like shaking my head. I go, oh, if only I had a truck to trade in for.
I know, right?
And I mean, I've been selling comics and a bunch of toys because I've been collecting stuff, forever. And now I got like a 2,400 square foot loft, and I'm just going through everything. And I'm selling comics to buy more comics.
That's how it works, though. I mean, a lot of collectors that I know, that's how it ends up being. And you could tell your friend he could sell his truck and get that number 1, or he could just buy everything off our campaign. I mean,
Well, he might do that too because he is a music fan, and I did share this in his private group. So, there's a good chance.
Hey, while we've been looking at this, Philman X and Will Matt stuff, hello, what's going on, my man? Wanted to make sure that we shouted you out.
Hello.
And Trish also said, to be completely honest, this is the first project I backed of Steph and Matt's because I just found them at Christmas time. I remember talking to her and Mike around that time, and I was really impressed with their support for the different campaigns that were out there. We were
awesome supporters of everybody. It's just
it's
nice to bring them aboard to our.
We were in between campaigns at that time, so we're glad that we finally have something that they can sink their teeth into.
And she mentions, she's just happy to have catch-up tiers for us latecomers, and that's definitely. I mean, there was we've had a couple people in the industry who have said, if you don't have a catch-up tier, I'm not going to back your campaign, because I need to, if I'm jumping in late into the series, I can't just pick up issue 5 and not know what happens, and so that's kind of stuck in our heads. We always have to have some sort of catch-up tier. We can't assume that everybody is returning backer or fan or whatever the case may be. We want to give those people an opportunity if they're like, this sounds like a really cool story, but I need to know the rest, like you were saying earlier. We want to, so we will always offer those opportunities.
Well, yeah, because obviously you figure, every campaign you're adding on more people, and word of mouth goes out, and appearing on, I don't know, like 1,000,001 podcasts every campaign. And, just if somebody is like searching out or commenting on like comic book stuff, they might have just got back into the hobby or something, then, of course, Facebook is selling their information to Kickstarter and Indiegogo so they can market them on the feed. And all of a sudden your campaign comes up and you're like, what's this? Ooh, music and comics?
Yeah. And one of the things we learned this time too, which we actually did not realize we were allowed to do, Kickstarter themselves told us, because our campaign is 50% comics and 50% music, and it's all integrated together, that they encouraged us to actually switch the category that our campaign is listed in every few days, because we are in comics/comic books, but then we're also in music/metal. So the campaign started off in comics. I think we have it back now in metal. This is the second iteration through. It's been in comics twice. It's been in music twice. Because there are some people that may only come to Kickstarter and they may say, I want to see if there's some new music out there for me to pick up. And they're not going to logically go into the comics section to look for metal. And likewise, somebody's not going to go to the music section to look for comics.
Yeah.
So they said, because of the kind of campaign you have, switch it every couple of days so that way it's actually potentially getting in front of a different set of eyes. So we can't say that it's done a lot of good, but we can't say that it hasn't, because we did get backers.
There's no way really of knowing. Yeah.
Every time that we've had it in the different categories, we have gotten backers. We don't know what brought them in, but we do know that there hasn't been a dead period, no matter what category we've had it in.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know too that our type of campaign, it fits well to do that. Now, if we had some of our previous campaigns, like our HEIRS campaigns, where the first album had been out for years and we offered it as part of one tier, but it was for the comic or the trade, we wouldn't really be able to do that. Wouldn't be necessarily be fair for us to do that, because that'd be stretching it a little to say that it's both comics and music. This obviously is both. It's the comic and the album. We're highlighting both, one just as much as the other. So it makes sense to switch back and forth between the categories.
I think the one thing, if we would have known that on campaign 2 and campaign 4, because this is our 5th campaign. On campaign 2, we did issue 11 of HEIRS, but then also the 268-page graphic novel. And then the last campaign, we did HEIRS 3 and then the trade paperback for HEIRS. We could have at that time switched back and forth between comics and then the subcategory of comic books and the subcategory of trade paper of graphic novels. But we didn't know at the time we were allowed to do that, but we could have, in the comic world, moved it back and forth between comics and graphic novels if we wanted to. If we would have known that then, we know that for the next time down the line when we have an issue and a trade in the same campaign, if we do.
Yes.
Yeah, and you don't care whether it's the comics that brought them in or the music that brought them in. You're just glad they're here.
You know what? My brother coined a phrase a long time ago that you do not want to be in the sales prevention department. And somebody comes in and they want to buy stuff from us, hey, we're going to be happy. If somebody asks, Trish is a good example. She had asked if we had a specific type of catch-up tier, and we didn't have it. It was just one of those oversights. Even with all the tiers we made, it was just one that was an oversight. So we made that tier because she asked for it. We had someone else that was like, hey, I'm in the add-ons. I picked a tier. I'm in the add-ons and I don't see this obvious thing. Like, I think we may have not even had the records in as add-ons where you could go pick a tier and add on a record. And we're like, well, we got to fix that. There's
yeah,
still
we've added quite a few tiers from people messaging us. It's one of the things that we try to be really good about is if someone messages us and asks us a question, we're going to reply as soon as we can and work with them. So if you're going through the campaign right now and you have a question, just hit us up. We'll be happy to help. And we've had a couple people that have pointed out to us that we didn't have something on the island. We have so much stuff, and those last few days of getting a campaign ready are so crazy that there's a few items that slipped through the cracks, and we've had people that have brought them up, and good thing that they did, because then we were able to add them on real quick.
Well, the add-ons are great, and I had Rylan Grant on a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I pledged to his campaign as well. And when I got to the end, I told him, I go, dude, you had so many add-ons. I felt like I was scrolling to the bottom of the screen to find my birth year.
Spin it around like the Wheel of Fortune.
He goes, yep. He goes, if I even have one of anything, it goes into an add-on.
Yes, that's exactly how we are too. We have a lot of back merchandise that it does us no good to have it just sitting around. We're going to take it to a show, or we're going to offer it on the campaign. If there are those people that, if this is their first time, their first exposure to us, and we have had some people that are like, I want to take it all. We have tiers that offer everything, and we've had people that have taken those because they want it all. And if we don't offer that, if we don't put it on there, no one's going to take it. If we put it on there and it just goes unnoticed, well, then at least we tried.
And we've talked to some creators and we've told them, look, what if as a creator to other creators, one of the biggest words of advice we can give is have a tier in your campaign that is literally everything you can possibly put together. Because the only thing it's going to harm you in doing is it's going to take you a little bit of time to put that tier together.
Yeah.
But you know what? You might have an issue of something that's been sitting in your inventory for a year that is never going to move. But you know what? There might be somebody out there that's a collector that might want it. And if they don't have it in that campaign, they're not going to go search it out. And they may say, hey, I want one of everything. We had a period of time where in our live shows, we sold more of our metal CDs to senior citizens than we did to metal fans. Absolute truth to that statement. Because we were doing a lot of steampunk shows, and the demographic for steampunk shows is a little older than what you would get at a metal show. And people come up, they talk to us, and like, yeah, I like you guys, I want one of everything. I'm like, you do know that that's a metal CD over there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care, you guys are cool, we want one of everything.
Yeah.
There's people that have done that on Kickstarter campaigns, and we're like, guys, if you've got, I don't care if you've got 5 different book series, make a tier that is so if somebody wants everything, get it all in there.
Yeah,
they can go
you have
one click. I've got everything that William Pace ever put out is right here in this one tier. I want everything because he's a cool guy. Boom, got them all.
And even if there's, you have like one book of, something that you did back in like the early 80s where you went to Kinko's and you made black and white copies and you stapled them together. I have a couple in the other room. And
there are collectors that want that.
You've got one left and you put it out there.
Yep.
It's bound to catch at least 1 or 2 people's eyes, and somebody will snag it up because it's like, it's one of when, especially in this age of collecting and speculation, people see one of one. Boom, they're going to get it. They might not read it. They might just put it in a plastic coffin, but they bought it.
Well,
it's up to them what they do with it. But we've actually had people that have come to us and said, do you have any first printing, first edition #1 of HEIRS? And, we're gonna offer that stuff until it's no longer available.
Well, I can
we're
tell
not
you,
gonna just hang on to it.
We actually had an interesting story on this same note happen when we did the Tales from Nocturna Complete Legendary Saga trades. They were being printed up at the printers, and we had an event where we're having a release event, and we get a call from the printers like, hey, we have an issue with the spine on the books. It's not when I designed it with the wrong millimeter count. And I'm like, that sucks, because we had all this other stuff to pick up from them. We have this event coming up, And he's like, hey, we got 7 in, and we had to stop the press because we saw that the spine wasn't sitting correctly. So redesign the spine, send it down to them. They said, hey, look, we're not going to be able to have this good run ready for the events you have coming up. We'll have all the other issues ready. We'll have 7 of these misprints ready for you that you can take up there so people can see them. So maybe they'll pre-order them at the event or whatever it may be. So we get to the event, and there are people that have already bought the trade that we're going to pick it up there. And they're like, dude, you've got 7 misprints. Give me one of those misprints.
Yeah.
We actually, out of the 7, we sold the other 5 at the show. I kept one for myself. Steph kept one for herself. But all 7 of the misprints were actually accounted for. And I think 4 of the 5 were bought by people who already had purchased the original one because they're like, hey, I want the misprint too. I want everything you guys do. So if you have a misprint, you better give it to me. So you're absolutely right. It's crazy how the market works. I don't know if you saw that LeBron James, his rookie basketball card today sold for $5.2 million. $5.2 million in the speculation market. I'm like, man, I need to go beat LeBron James for a minute.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but collectors will spend it if you offer it. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't have a $5 million piece, but
who's to say?
We don't have a $5 million piece now. We might in a couple of years. You
never know.
Yeah,
Goals.
It could be that certain thing that you can't mention that's only going to be one of one that apparently Trish and Mike want to buy.
We do have somebody that's a fan of ours that actually curses us whenever we add something to the campaign. They're like, you bastards, you're hurting my wallet. Why you add these things?
My wallet is crying. Like,
why are you doing this to me? But
and then they're like, give me a minute. I got to call up Citibank and see if I can get an extension.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
The extras.
So there's the turntable covers that we mentioned earlier with good old Harrison holding them up to show you the, kind of their size.
And like I said, there's a video that's right underneath there that you might be able to even play it right now if you want to take. It's only a couple like 20 seconds long, but you can actually see some of the glow in the dark elements of the song.
Look at that.
Oh,
Look how cool that is.
That's rad.
Now, the thing about that video, too, is that it's kind of slipped under the radar, which we've been really surprised about, is the music that you're hearing there and the music that is in the first half of the campaign trailer is actually part of one of the songs that is on the album. That's actually the comic title track, Nightmare Scenario. When we did our first album, we had one song that has no guitars and no vocals on there called Transcendence. And people really liked that soundtrack, epic sound, something it sounds like Two Steps from Hell, different things like that. And we kind of knew that we had to have a song like that on this album was going to be like the Transcendence companion song. And that's where Nightmare Scenario, the song, came from. And that's a 20-second clip of Nightmare Scenario. The campaign video has another 40 seconds of that song up there as well.
So that's a preview of music that you can buy right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
The glow-in-the-dark guitar pick.
One of my favorite little items that we're offering.
Yep, that was for the early birds, which for us, we don't give early birds of a time limit. We give them of a backer number. The first 50 physical backers, no matter what their backing level was, all get one of those picks. After those 50, only what we call elite tiers, which are $59 prior to shipping or higher, will get those things added into their campaign, added into their pledge. If you pick a tier that is less than that, but then you add on items that get to $59, we'll still add one of those picks in as well.
Very cool. This is just because you wanted to pick up a guitar again. I know it is.
Yeah.
Well, we did make sure they're actually, I think they're going to be .94s, which are about what I use. So you never know. I might actually record some stuff on one of the songs with one of those picks.
In the dark.
In the dark,
That's
so we
right,
can take
in
some
the
cool
dark.
video of it.
Because it wouldn't mean anything if you was just, I'm holding a green guitar pick while I'm doing this. Yeah. So turn the lights out. I always used to do that to one of my best friends, guitarists, because he'd been playing for like 20 years, but you would never know it because he just sat there and stared at his fretboard the entire time. And he used to get pissed off at me because I would like black out do like a quick blackout on the stage, and it would be, and he'd like yell and swear at me, but you know, he was like, he was probably like 20 pounds lighter than Steph and about half her height. And he just, you know, I'm 6'2", 300 plus pounds. And he'd just be like, you know, down to the ground screaming at me from knee height. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Shouldn't you know this song?
So you said he probably weighs the 20 pounds less than Steph. So you're saying he weighed a negative amount?
Yeah. Well, it said he took up negative space, but
so there is the graphic you're on right now. There is a lot of the items, not all of them, but a lot of the items we have in the add-on section. We've got foil covers. We've got like the Inferians cover that we did for the band Inferi from Tales from Nocturna #2. We've got the trade paperbacks for both Heirs and for Nocturna for the first arc for Heirs. We have a whole bunch of different shirts. I think we still have some XXL shirts available. I think we only have 1 or 2 XXs, but we try to keep larger shirts in as well. We have our super sexy face masks, some woodwork that we had done for us, the leather dragon masks, the original CD, and all the trading cards, and any other thing we could find is in there in some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
there's those two weirdos.
It's the steampunk versions of the guests.
That's right. If you go to any live show, that's what you're going to get is our take on steampunk, a little our flair with some steampunk vibe to it.
How we've evolved from, you know, kind of traditional steampunk to now twinning and doing some wild and crazy stuff. But we're having fun, and we can guarantee that for the most part now, if you walk into a con, we're going to be, you know, eye-catching to say the least. The things that we wear. Cool. Gotta have fun with it. Why if we didn't want to have fun, we'd be like accountants or something, you know.
And you know, I've seen posts, and obviously the fans, they get and have a lot of fun because you guys are dressed up, and you know, what is it, like 9 out of 10 people going to cons are like dressed in various costumes now.
Exactly. Well, and the fun thing too is we kind of have, we do it like 95%, 99% of picks that we take with people. We have our signature poses. Matt always does his metal pose or whatever, and I just felt silly doing it just because there's no way I can ever look tough. So I would do the point. That's my thing, is just to do a point. So if you've seen pics of us, that's normally what we're doing. And the best part was when we have people ask to take pics with us and we do those poses, and then they automatically do something else of their own. It's so much fun to see these people just kind of automatically, they're like, well, I'm going to just go out of my comfort zone a little bit and do some sort of pose, and they do something, and it's just fun. We just want to have fun with people.
Yeah, I tried that a couple of times, and then I look at the pictures afterwards, and I'm just, you know, cringing.
Yeah, see, that's why I point, because there's no way I could do a metal pose. It just doesn't look right when you look like an elf, you know.
Well, I mean, like I said, we try and have fun with things. I was talking with one of Corey's relatives today, and if you look at the most recent update, if you go to the updates and you click on the most recent update, we've been doing a series of pictures. We've had some magical happenings happening around these parts, and the comment that I made to him was, you know, even if you're sad, you still want to laugh. Everybody wants to laugh. Yeah, if you click on that, read more in there. Just see some interesting things have happened. So Steph went to laundry. She went to pour laundry out the other day, and a magical tank top appeared, and it gave the campaign update. So, you know, that was what happened. And it was startling, but she got over it. And then if you scroll down a little bit, the very next day, you know, she was going through her vinyl collection, and a magical record appeared, and it gave the campaign update. And So she's like, well, what's going on?
Weird
And then
things afoot in the team and sim world right now.
well, the thing that was crazy was we were on with Jay Wendell on the Midwest Metal Show last night, and after we get off, he's working on his show, and his screen was overtaken, and his screen showed the campaign updates. He's like, what is going on here? So we try to have some fun with this, and we are keeping our eyes out to see if any of these other things might happen, to see if this energy, this magical energy, might appear elsewhere, and you never know where it could appear, and may not appear anywhere. It may appear more, and we'll just have
you
to
never
see
know
what
with
happens.
us. We like to keep people on their toes. You never know what to expect from old Matt and Steph.
You got to have fun with things.
You can never tell what's going to happen.
That's right.
We'll zoom down to see what we can see.
Yeah,
So at the bottom of the campaign, we just go through some of the creators, the musicians that are in there. The one thing that's at the bottom that we talk about is the deliverables. We have the shipping notes. We put a special section for shipping notes in here. If you don't follow the vinyl production market, you don't understand just how backed up it is. It is ludicrous how backed up vinyl production is. Even major record labels are having some difficulty getting their vinyl in a timely fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So for this campaign, we've actually set 2 different deliverable dates. For everything that is not vinyl and not the leather turntable covers, we've set August as the month for hopeful delivery. And then for the records, we had to set November. And the reason why we did that is because we did not want people that are just like, hey, man, I want my Garbage Pail Kid covers. I don't give a crap about vinyl. We didn't want these people to needlessly be waiting for November when they could have their stuff in August. So it's built into the campaign. If you're somebody that's getting both, you're going to get the CDs and the MP3s and the physical copies and your add-ons in August. And then when the vinyls come in, that's when you're going to get the vinyls.
Yeah, and I'm like, that works perfect for me because I'm like, my birthday's in November, so I'm like, that's like a birthday present to me.
What's your birthday, man? What's your birthday, man?
21st.
Ooh, close.
I'm the 26th. So
close.
Are you Sagittarius? Are you last day of Scorpio?
Yeah, I'm right on the border there.
We're going to call you. We are going to call you an honorary Sagittarius for the evening, sir.
I have a lot of typical traits of both. So
Matt is definitely a Sagittarius.
Like when you go out to dinner, it's like, what are you gonna have? I go, oh, a little from column A, a little from column B.
There you go.
So the other thing too that we want to tell people, if you are interested in our campaign, the earlier you get into our campaigns, the better off it could be for you, because at the end of the campaigns, we will do campaign drawings. We'll do some post-campaign drawings. We are known for doing this. Last time we gave away some foil covers and some Brian Silverback's homage covers that we did. I think we had 7 drawings at the end of the campaign last time.
We have a lot of fun with them too.
I think we've already got two drawings set up. One of them was, we had the CromCon drawing. Then we also did one for the top 100. If you were in the top 100 backers, your names are going to go into a pool and there's going to be a drawing there. We are about to do one with Monster Matador with Stephen Prince, which we'll just say it now. So if you are someone that has backed both Monster Matador and our campaign, you give us your name and we will get you into the Matador drawing at the end of the campaign. Fairly certain we're going to have at least 2 more. Not going to say what they are right now, but fairly certain we'll have 2 more. And so the earlier you get into the campaign, the more chance you have to be able to get your name into one of those drawings. You never know what you could win. We've had people, we had Thomas Tenney from Marvel and Creepshow give us a signed print. Like I said, we've given away $30 foil covers and $30 homage covers and different things as well. And you know what, if you are in 5 different drawings and we happen to pull your name 5 times, well, you know what, you just had your lucky day.
Yep.
So that's so the earlier you get into our campaigns, the more you have a chance to get yourself onto these lists and have more fun after the campaign is over. We want our campaigns to be an experience from the day that we launch it, from the day that we announce it until the day we have those drawings. And then after that, obviously getting the stuff into your hands. We definitely don't want people to just think that we look at you as numbers. Obviously, we want the backer number to rise. Obviously, we want the pledge number to rise. But we want you to feel like when you are in the campaign that you are getting an experience, that we actually give a crap about you being involved in the campaign, that there's going to be fun. We just showed you those pictures that we made. We sit here all day long doing the graphics and trying to make sure that people that backed it at the beginning feel like they're just as appreciated as the new backers we're going after as the campaign progresses.
And because of something you said when you were talking about the drawings, I have to bring up one of Pop's earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. We did it. We did a CromCon drawing, and if you watched anything in CromCon and you've backed our campaign and you say, hey, look, I watched CromCon and now I've backed the campaign, let us know. We get you on that list.
Yep.
And
Fun little incentives there.
Everybody likes free stuff.
That's right. Everybody wants value adds. Like I said, now if you back, I mean, when the people that backed at the beginning didn't know it was going to be added on, they just knew they were getting a guitar pick. Now you know, hey, you're at least going to be getting 2 of the foil trading cards, and you're going to be getting a couple of PDFs. You know, who knows what could be coming down the line? We just have to get there to find out.
Well, I know I'm going to be getting a guitar pick. You know,
Ooh. Well, I like the sounds of that.
I know I'm getting a guitar pick because I've looked at the campaign, and there's no way in hell I'm getting out of that, you know, without spending at least $59. Yeah, probably closer to $159, but you know.
Well,
we're not going to stop you.
That's right. We're not going to stop you. Don't let us hold you up.
No, don't let us hold you back.
No. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm selling my older comics that I've read. Many of them I don't give two craps about. I was just bored and had money burning a hole in my pocket, so I'd walk into my LCS. I would get everything that was on hold for me that week. I'd flip through them, and then I'd look at the wall and be like, oh, this looks cool, this looks cool, this looks cool, this looks cool. And now I'm selling all those for even cooler stuff. So
hey, that's the way it works, you know?
That's the way it works.
Yep. I'm a comic book crack addict.
Nothing wrong with being a crack addict as long as it's not the white kind.
Not the white kind, no. The right kind, not the white kind.
That's right.
So why don't you guys tell everybody where you like to be followed on social media so they can see all your posts besides, you know, once you contribute to the greater good here, you will get all the updates in emails, but to see the posts live as they go out and all the cool things you guys share out.
So the first thing you want to do is on Facebook, you want to go to /INSYM, INSYM. I'll share a lot of stuff onto my personal Facebook page, but then we'll go and share it over there. So you want to definitely share that /INSYM. You also want to go to Instagram, In Symmetry Creations, and follow the In Symmetry Creations page there. Sign up for our email list because we do send a lot of stuff out through the email list, especially during campaigns. We try to update at least every other day through email. Mm-hmm. And then my personal is at Dr. Anguish, Dr. Anguish. Steph is at Steph Cannon Writes. But the main thing is if you had to pick one thing to do, follow InSym or InSym Creations on Twitter or In Symmetry Creations, wherever you can, and you're going to be able to get that information.
Yep.
Trish likes free stuff.
Free stuff good. Free stuff good.
We are getting a pink too, I think.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Trish. Yep. That is a guarantee. We've got our spreadsheet over here. Whenever somebody backs, we actually keep our own spreadsheet. Yeah. And we put everybody's stuff in there as we go, so we know what the quantities are. And I can go over here. Yes, it said that Trish is getting the pick.
Yeah, that's actually the noise his computer makes. It's really weird, but
that's right. Would you like me to do that again?
Yeah. How did that go again?
It's okay. So hold on. Ready? I'm gonna say it's. Oh wait, this one I just looked into the future on this one, and it said William Pace is going to feel really satisfied with what he chooses in this campaign.
Really? Well, now we're making promises that I don't know if we can keep.
Wow. I'm not sure what's going on over here.
I'm not sure either, but it sounds like a good Friday night to me.
I was going to say, we're making promises. I don't know if we're going to be able to fulfill there.
It was the computer. I didn't do it. The computer did it. I'm not sure. You know, all
right then.
Matt will just send me the half of the sandwich from Subway you didn't eat. And,
yeah.
That's I'll be like, ooh, a sandwich, cool.
Be a little soggy, but it's a sandwich. It's all right, You
throw it on the grill for 5 minutes. It's all
there
good.
You go. Toast it up.
It's all good. Get it all toasted up. But I mean, this whole project looks awesome.
Thank
of course,
you.
I'm excited for the vinyl. I'm more excited that the vinyl is going to show up around my birthday.
Like, so which one of those two vinyls is something that actually appeals to you? We always like to know people if they're picking one. Are they more into the blue, red, black? Are they into the neon orange and green splatter?
I'm like I said, I like the Dragon's Lair one because outside of obviously listening to the album and following along with the lyrics in the back of the comic and just listening to get into like headspace for reading or whatever. I have a bunch of vinyl frames that look really good on the wall and some black lights that would make that thing look amazing.
Oh yes.
That is exactly why we got it, because we already had the green and orange double dragon stuff from the last time. We have the shirts that actually look good in the black light. And we're like, hey, we've got to keep that motif up when it comes to the records.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. I was like, oh, that one looks cool. Because I've been getting frustrated because I like a lot of the vinyl that Mondo puts out, and it's like
that's
all
what
like
I collect.
It's all like limited, and by the time I get a notification, ooh, new Mondo vinyl, and I'll look. And sometimes it's something that I'm mildly interested in, and sometimes it's something I go, oh, want.
Yep.
And I go to click, purchase in the cart, and I get the bing, bing, bang. Sorry.
Yeah.
Item is sold out.
I know. I was telling Matt about this the other day about because I'm a big movie soundtrack fan. So that's what I collect exclusively. And the majority of them come from Mondo. And they do their drop every Wednesday. And there are some. I managed to snag some of the coveted ones that I really wanted that they did over the holiday season. Mm-hmm. And but I was having like a friend help like do it on their side, and I was like, if we both get one, then we'll figure it out because I wanted them so bad. But yeah, you go and you wait, you get on like right at the time that it drops, and it's already sold out. And I'm like, and it's those dang collectors that are going to turn around on eBay and sell them. And but yeah, that's Mondo is I collect movie posters too. Variant movie posters is my other thing that I collect.
For a while, Mondo and Outright Geekery had a thing, so they were sending us like this. We could pick certain things, and they would send them to us, and we would we would do like an opening and a review and everything else. And I did the comic book dealer thing, and I did the review and the opening. I played with the toy for quite a while, and then I sold it.
Yeah, I mean I
needed comic book money.
I know exactly. Is right. It does look like a dragon eye. Yeah, I think we're gonna. Yeah, well, maybe we'll call that the dragon's eye variant or something.
And the one thing too, we try to make sure we let people know this every time that we get onto a show. People need to approach variant colored vinyl differently than they approach a variant cover on a comic or a t-shirt printing, because this is not something that comes off of a silk screen where you're going to get exactly the same thing every time. Colored vinyl is an art form. They have it looks like a donut, and then they put it into a bowl that looks like Fruity Pebbles, and to get the different colors. And then there is there's a way that they actually make the vinyl have the form that it does. And so all three of us on this call could all get the same Dragon's Lair variant. and they're going to look a little bit different. Mine might have a little more of the green splatter than Will's does, and Steph might be more green than orange. But it's just because of the manual nature. This is all done by hand. There's actually a person there that is packing the stuff onto the vinyl. So it's really cool that these things, even if you say, hey, we've all got the Dragon's Lair variant, you could have every one of them is a little more one of a kind than the next. So it's really cool. So even if they're all the same, they aren't the same, which kind of makes it that much more collectible.
Yeah, they're, they look similar, but they're all one of a kind because, it's like, no two snowflakes and all that.
That's exactly it. Right. So it makes them cool.
So, I mean, this has been awesome, and I can't wait to spend my money and take my money.
Oh, gladly.
Of course.
Well, we appreciate you having us on, and like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We will get the graphics up, whether it's going to be tonight or tomorrow morning for the stretch goal that happened at 7,000, and who knows what's going to happen when we get to 8,000 if we get there. I mean, that's where the next one's going to be. We'll have to see what happens when we get there, and we'll go from there.
If we get there. I was at the end of your last campaign, remember?
I know. Hey, we're hoping to do. If we can surpass that, then we'll be overjoyed. But right now we're just counting the little steps till we get there. We never expected to fund in 40 minutes either. So everything is icing on the cake now.
We're not going to take anything for granted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're just appreciative of every single person. Doesn't matter if somebody backs, for the entry level to get in at $6, or if somebody gets one of the giant tiers. We celebrate with every person that backs, and so it doesn't matter. You could be somebody like we'll back a lot of creators. We'll back it at a low level, so that way we can back more campaigns and give them our support. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to us. We're going to jump for joy if it's the small backer or the big backer, because that's a person that is investing their time and their money in what we do, and we appreciate that more than we can articulate.
Yes.
Yeah. It's every single backer is another set of eyes appreciating all this hard work you guys have put into this.
And you know what? We are finally now getting back into a point in our world where things are starting to open up a little bit more, and there's going to be more potential opportunities for shows that are not in Florida and California for Steph and I to do. And like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, we had 14 events in 5 states that were canceled in 2020. We were supposed to be in 5 states. We ended up doing shows we did shows in 2 because Steph ended up doing a couple in California, or one in California, before everything got closed down. After that, everything was in Florida. So we missed out on Georgia, North Carolina, Washington State, and some other bigger ones in California we were supposed to do. We want to get back out there. We want to be in different places. We want to be in as many states as we can doing what we do. And so the more people that have eyes on what we're doing, the more people that like what we do, the more opportunities there's going to be for us to be in those places. So it's kind of the long game in that respect. We know we have to continue to build our fan base so we can have those opportunities.
Yeah, I know. I've been getting excited because more and more shows are like opening up, and I've seen like 3 or 4 shows over like the last couple of days. There was one up by me in New Hampshire, which was like an old school Comic-Con, just comic creators and vendors. Yep. And then I heard that Terrificon in Connecticut is 100% go. And then I got even more excited because he's got the cast of the original Land of the Lost showing up.
Nice. Awesome.
Just showing my age. I know Rhode Island Comic-Con is a go. They've already announced as many people as they can from the Cobra Kai series.
Oh man, we've got, I think I came in late to that series. I've got maybe a few episodes left of season 3, but I would love to be there for that.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I'm loving it. I love it. It's so great. It's kind of like I say it's kind of like after like these crazy days that we have, it's just kind of a palate cleanser just to sit down and just shut my brain off and just enjoy just a nice show,
Well,
we don't get those opportunities.
The very first Rhode Island Comic-Con, the guy that plays Johnny Lawrence was there.
Oh man!
And there was a cosplayer dressed as Booster Gold.
Oh.
And he had skeets. It was like on a hard wire, like up over here, and it was basically like an MP3 player with like a button in his hand. So he kept walking back and forth by his table, and every time he pressed the button, it was the theme music to Karate Kid.
That's amazing.
You know, so I'm like, the show's so good, and I covered that one for Outright Geekery back in 2019. And got to hang out with like a lot of cool, a lot of cool indie people, a lot of cool, like, mainstream people that are surprisingly now indie people. Like,
that's how it works sometimes.
like Graham Nolan and, Bill McKay and, a few other people. And I got to meet a big time favorite of mine, Mike Grell. So,
yeah, we love cons. Matt's had the opportunity to be a panel moderator at Collective Con in Jacksonville, and it was pretty fun. I mean, there's quite a few anime voice actors there, but he's gotten to interview the armor from Mandalorian, and a few others.
Cesar Garcia from Breaking Bad and Fast and the Furious. Johnny Young Bosch from Power Rangers.
So Trish asked, are you guys going to do any other cons besides the ones in Florida? We're really hoping so. California is, they're not really, I'm sure everybody's heard now what San Diego's doing, which is doing theirs over Thanksgiving weekend, which is not, probably not the best weekend. I'll put it that way. We have hopes to do some more in the Southeast because there are a few shows that we were going to do last year that obviously canceled, that we still have tables that we can hopefully do. We're just kind of waiting to see what the shows say. It's hard. There's some that haven't really said anything. You saw the Repop announce New York Comic Con and ECCC and C2E2 and SuperCon. That they're all going on, and those are way later in the year. We've got these that are a couple months away. We're like, will they please say something? I have to travel. I have to fly to these places. Don't these people know? So we're hoping to. We want to go, and we want to go to other areas that we haven't been yet. We've been Matt and I did ECCC in 2019, and have done cons in California and Florida. We'd love to get to some other parts of the United States that we haven't been yet because it's a whole new area, a whole new demographic for us. So fingers crossed. Yeah.
So Trish, so in a general statement, we absolutely intend on doing whatever shows we can do wherever they're at if they make financial sense for us. When we say financial sense, say if we're a guest at the show, if we have some expenses paid, or the being at the show is not something that's going to make us financially destitute. Anything is open. We will consider anything, and if the show logistically makes sense, then you can expect to see us there if the logistics work out.
I think Trish just wants her and Mike to go and hang out with you guys for a weekend.
Absolutely. Shoot, if we're in that area, that's going to happen no matter what.
Absolutely.
For sure. Guys, make sure you follow them and back this campaign at whatever tier. They're just going to be thrilled that you're investing
for everybody.
Your time and money into something they've been working on for quite a number of years now.
Yeah, the album, the very first time that Steph traveled to Florida to do the first steampunk show she did with me, I played her one of the songs that was written for this album. So you're talking the summer of 2018 was when that song was written. And so it just been in the back burner, just, little by little. We wanted to make sure we were focused on the comic side, and we were still promoting the first album. And now after all these years, we have this album that's getting ready to come out. We're really super stoked about it.
We think everyone's going to love it. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Take your time going through the campaign. Before you know it, you too will be getting a glow in the dark guitar pick.
That's right.
That's
I
right.
like the way you think.
I try. It's probably because I had a coffee right before the show. But you know, whatever works. So once again, I want to thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you so much.
Just remember, later on, this entire show will be available for download anywhere you get your podcast. Just search for Creators Outlet. Specifically, the area I put it up on is ageofradio.org. So you can always go there, and under new shows, you'll find Creators Outlet. And I got a ton of shows. This is 118. I did 119 last night. They were kind of like mismatched numbers, but from episode 40 on up, you can download and listen to over there. So please check that out. And any other questions, you can reach out to me. You can find me on Twitter at JokerFan and on Instagram at JokerFan1969 and William Pace on Facebook. And just about any comic book group I'm in. And there's lots of them.
Good.
So,
well, we appreciate you having us on.
It's a great project. If anybody has any questions, please reach out and get in touch with them. And take Trish's word for it. And
yes.
and hurry up and buy anything that's one of one in this campaign before Trish and Mike's credit cards stop crying as well. But not that that's a bad thing. So until next time, we'll see you again. Peace, love, and read some comic books, man.